Hello everybody, back again. Hope you enjoyed the video of my one golf hole at Wyoming Valley. Hope you also enjoyed the part on the green where I couldn't figure out the word for oversized grip. So if you didn't see that, go check that out. But today, since I always talk about coming in for a complimentary screening, I am a Titleist Performance Institute certified clinician. Level 1 and Level 2. I always talk about coming in, but figured today we'll go through a TPI screen on myself, show you what you'd be getting into and what we can really go through in this process and how it can benefit you. So yeah, let's dive right in. So we're going to go through the video, the entire screen, and then we're going to go through the grading process at the end. So let's get into it. I really wish I could just cut that bottom part of the video off, but the media player sucks, and there's nothing else there at the moment that I have figured out an easier way. So you just get to look at the little outlines from the media player and my PC desktop or taskbar. All right, so whatever. Let's dive into it. So first one, we're going to be checking out my just general golf posture and my ability to kind of rotate those hips. So what we're looking for here is, do I have like any excessive S posture? So is there a big curve there, or is it like a C? There's not, which is good. And then let's see if I'm able to control my pelvis, rocking it forward and backward, which I can do pretty good. There's a little kind of herky-jerk there when I'm activating my core a little bit. But besides that, it's pretty solid. Next one, we move on. I spin around. And now want to see, can you rotate your hips side to side without any compensatory movements with the knees? There's going to be some knee movement, but nothing excessive. Can you do it without control, moving around your shoulders and spine? So again, I can do that one. Pretty fun as well. Yeah, shake those hips around, Matt. Good job. So 2 for 2. Next one, same thing. And if you weren't able to do those, there's compensatory things that we're able to do. So I would get right next to you and see if I am kind of holding on to your upper body, then are you able to isolate and control it that way? If not, then you fail. I didn't fail, which is good. Next one, we move on to that upper body. So now are you able to isolate the upper half and just rotate that trunk without any compensation from the lower body? These first couple are just how well can you isolate different segments of the body, which are critical in sequencing through the golf swing, because you don't just move everything together. There's a whole sequence to the golf swing. All right. So let's see how I rotate my trunk. Again, pretty good. Not a ton of extra movement with the hips. It's mostly just all upper body, which is good again. Next, here comes a failure. So this one looks at a overhead squat. Hands are above my head. The goal, I can't even start in the correct position. The goal is to have your shoulders straight overhead. My shoulders don't get to 180 degrees. I'm probably at like, I don't know, 150, 155 if I had to guess, which isn't great. Most people, you could just bring it straight up without a problem. Too much benching back in the day. Scapula doesn't move the best. Thoracic spine doesn't extend the best. So, and we're going to see a little bit more of that as we go further. All right. So the goal is to, now I can do the rest of the squat totally fine. I'm able to break parallel here. Good weight distribution both sides. If I had it forward, I wouldn't be favoring one side over the other. But my shoulders just drop. So that tells me that there's, and if we did this on you, I didn't do it, but if we saw this in you, I would take away the club, you put your arms at your sides, and then see if you're able to do that and how the squat looks without holding the club. If you're able to do it like that, which I would be able to do, it tells us there's not a huge problem down at the hips and lower body. It's more so that mid-back up potentially into the shoulders, which is a problem for me and has been for a while. No pain, but it's not good. So squat is fine. It's just the from here up is an issue for me. And we're going to do a whole grading on myself at the end. So now let's move on. How are my hamstrings looking? Honestly, not awful. Little bend in the knees. I can't. I get to the toes, but a little bend, so I fail. Next one, moving on, go right to the shoulders again. So now we'll get a little more into my problems, and this is what the screen does for golfers specifically. It teases out different movements throughout the body that can be an issue with a golf swing and really isolates areas that we can work on when you come in. So now let's see what the now we're going to look at external rotation of your shoulder, which is pretty critical. We want to see if we can get it to at least about like 80, 90 degrees. And what we're really looking for is pretty level with my spine here, which I am able to get it to. The real goal is even a little further than that, so I'm right on the borderline of failing. And then after that, we want to see, okay, how you can do that standing, but now how do you do when you're actually in your golf posture, which we'll take a look at in a second. So that's to at least the spine angle. Now, set it up here. Am I able to get that same angle, or is there an issue? And I'm able to get actually a little bit further, which is good there. Actually, not bad. I'll go to the left side, speed it up, because it's exactly the same. Maybe to the spine, a little past the spine in golf posture, which is pretty solid. Next one is nothing crazy. We just want to see what your balance looks like. Stability is a huge part of the golf swing. Can you transition your weight and be able to do a full movement with good stability of the lower body, good balance? So this one just kind of teases that out a bit, which I'm able to do easily. This is, you're supposed to do it for 15 seconds, I believe. 15 seconds on both sides. I'm not going to make you watch that. So one side and then on top of the other. And I just hopped over because I'm not in the middle. But there we go. Easy. Next one. This one's looking specifically at hip rotation. So have a little goniometer here. 60 degrees this way, 60 degrees that way if you split it down the middle. So first we're looking at the right side. And we're going to see what does my... I don't know which way I'm going to go first. Let's see. All right, so what does my internal rotation of that right hip look like? Pretty good. My belt line is past this line, so that's solid. Or this is external rotation. Now let's see what internal rotation looks like. Also, I'm able to pass, belt line passes that line. Good. And we'll switch sides. I'm good. Internal rotation this way, but you'll see it's not super obvious, but when I come back the other way, a little more limited there. Kind of stop. I'm close to that 60, but I fall out of it pretty quickly. So I'd probably give myself maybe a failing grade there. And it's better to say you fail than it is to be like, yeah, you're fine. Let's move on. Because at worst, dive into it a little bit deeper. Don't find a problem. And then we move on. If I just skip it, it could be a problem and something that's critically missed. For example, hip rotation's pretty significant in the golf swing and obviously necessary. So we don't want to miss something like that if it might be an issue. All right, so better safe than sorry with those movements. Next, we will bump it up a bit. Same thing, we've got the, if you look through, you can't even see it because my face is there. You probably couldn't see on the other one, actually. But there's a little goniometer thing to measure the range. What we're looking at here, again, we want about 45 degrees on this one. Now we're looking at trunk rotation again. How much range do I have? Obviously, rotation of the trunk is also a critical part of the golf swing, backswing, and through follow through. So here, let's try that again. I am close. I'm probably right on it. So again, I'd probably give myself maybe a failing grade there. And then the other way is actually a bit better. So that's passing. Next, looking at your strength in the glutes and core stability as well. Can you bring your arms up and do a single leg bridge for 10 seconds? I am able to. I think I speed up the next part because You don't need to see me do that for a full 10 seconds. Easy. Move on. Next. Where am I? There I am. So, moving right up the chain. How does the neck move? Can you get over that clavicle here? I don't have any problem with neck movement. I actually discussed this in one of my first videos a couple of weeks ago when I was going through the neck. But that's good. Passing. Now we dive right into the wrists. So can you fully pronate and supinate? Palms up, palms down. You do just want to make sure you're not just rotating your whole arm around. You want to make sure it's limited to just that forearm when doing pronation and supination. And flip around some more. Do some more wrists after that. Can you radially deviate and ulnar deviate so it's bringing that wrist up and down? Wrists are more critical, and I discussed this in the warm-up video too. Wrists are more critical than you think in a golf swing. There's a lot of rotation that is needed there, so when you're coming through, can you do this and rotate it all the way back around essentially? And there's different angles of the wrist going back and forth. Can you get those angles? If you don't, it can lead to problems right up through into the shoulders and compensatory mechanisms of the back, hips, all that stuff just from poor wrist mobility. Sorry. So that's why we check out everything. You don't think that wrist can play a huge part, but that's one thing I always make sure I warm up and always have good mobility there. I'm even a little limited when I get to flexion and extension, which it's fine actually. So again, you want to make sure you're able to hit those different movements of the wrist. And then last one here is it's a lat test. So again, this gets into what my issues are. My lats are tight, and I think that also my thoracic extension difficulties play a part, and likely scapular mobility plays a part. But the goal with this one is getting those thumbs to the door, which I cannot do. I'm closer than I used to be. I probably used to be straight out this way. But the goal is thumbs to the door. There's 3 different areas, so can you get thumbs to the door? Great. If not, are you able to get between the nose and the door? I am, so it's not as bad, but obviously an issue. If you weren't able to get past your nose, that's a pretty big red flag that there's something going on in that mid-back area there. So that is about it for what we would do in the screen. It doesn't take a lot of time, just a couple movements, and none of these should be painful. If they are, there's obviously more of a problem. Jeez. More of a problem, sorry. So now that we did that, this is the app that we would use to kind of track your results. So set up posture, I was fine. Pelvic tilts, good. Pelvic rotation, fine. Torso rotation, good. Overhead squat, fail. So we get to go a little deeper into this one. So I am not able to do full overhead deep squat, but I can do it if I were to put my arms down. So gives a little yellow, just a little cautionary flag there. And then weight is evenly distributed. Toe touch, not quite. We'll give myself a limited bilaterally. Gives you a red, but some hamstring tightness I'm probably going to find on everybody. Not the biggest deal. 90-90. We're going to say, all right, I'm a little past the spine there. Same, which is good. I'm a little past the spine. Same, so we passed there. Single leg balance, easy. Lat test, failure. So we would go between the nose and the wall, and then same thing for the left side. Lower quarter rotation, I'm just going to say it's good, even though we found that external rotation on my one hip was a little bit limited, but instead of boring you through all of this. Seated trunk rotation was close, but we'll just say it's fine for now. Fine with the bridge and leg extension. Good with the wrists. All right, so we complete the screen, and then we see what the deficits are. It gives you a golf fitness handicap of what your issues might be. So our goal is obviously bring that down closer to 0. And most of the people that come in do not have this many green things. I don't even have this many green things. I probably have closer to like probably 8 to 10. So interestingly enough, my golf fitness handicap is about the same as my actual golf handicap, which is a 9.7, which is interesting. So if I were to bump up some of the ones that are a yellow, probably takes me to like an 8, 9-ish, which is interesting. So we would get that for the screen. And then what's interesting is this whole formula will analyze your results. And then based on that, whatever AI it has will predict what your swing faults are most likely to be. So this is close to what I am. So let's see how it does for me. Loss of posture. So you're probably going to see this with almost everybody, loss of posture, unless you're like a tour pro. My 100%, my biggest thing is early extension, and that's without a doubt my biggest issue. I have a tendency to get in my normal posture and then almost like not lunge at the ball, but I stand up a little bit. I get too close to the ball, and then I hit really close to the inside of the club. Hit some hosel rocket shanks. I play it dangerously close to the hosel, so I've been working on that quite a bit, and that has been getting better. But that early extension says it's tied for my most likely swing fault, which is 100% my greatest swing fault. See posture, not so much. Flat shoulder plane will give you this if you have some shoulder deficits, which I do, except it's not a huge problem for me, which is good. And then some of the other ones, a lot of people, let's see, over the top. If you have really poor shoulder extension, so if I wasn't able to get further, I'd probably have this over the top. Reverse spine angle is a big one. If you have difficulty rotating the hips and isolating your trunk, but not going to go through all of them. So that's really about it there. That's the main thing that we would dive through if you were to come into the clinic, and we would go through that complimentary screening. So when I say it every time to come in for a complimentary golf TPI screening, or we just do general physical movement screening. If you're a golfer, that's where you're going to get when you come in. So as always, give me a call. Come on down, get things fixed over the winter, improve your performance, and set your body up for improved performance going into the spring, and get stuff solved right now. All right? So that's about it. I think next video, again, like I said last time, it's going to be shoulder or 2023 goals. We shall find out. Enjoy better quality video, too. This video should be 4K, just to steal some of your bandwidth. So enjoy that, and I'll see you next time. Peace.